Up with KREM begins now.
Hi everyone, 6 o'clock here on your Wednesday. Welcome to Up with KREM and streaming on KREM 2+. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Nicole Hernandez. We of course bring you weather and traffic every 30 minutes here on Up with KREM. So we want to get right over to meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, it's going to be another warm day, but not quite as warm, right?
I'm okay. I need a little break.
Honestly, I want to run the AC a little less today compared to the last couple days as well, because the highs were in the 90s 2 straight days. We also had highs at record levels for 2 straight days, but today it will start to ease off back into the 80s by this afternoon. But still another pleasant summer-like warm June day ahead of us. Current temperature at 62 degrees. High is going to be about 85 for this afternoon. That a bit more reasonable for the area, and any 90s are still left over in central Washington, but even those locations not in the hundreds anymore.
Here's a live look at the traffic impact right now at I-90 and Division in downtown Spokane. You can see right now traffic flow in both directions moving great here in the 6 o'clock hour. We are crash free, which is a great start on this Wednesday morning. We'll keep a close eye on our cameras and bring you another update in the next 30 minutes.
We have an update in the search for Travis Decker. Law enforcement think now he is near Blewett Pass. Decker, of course, is accused of murdering his 3 daughters in Chelan County.
He's been on the run for more than 1 week. The new search area follows a tip about a lone hiker spotted near Kolchuk Lake. Maddie White from our Seattle sister station has the new details on the intensified search.
Search and rescue teams seem to think Decker was spotted alive and seem confident that they've got him tracked to the right area now. It all started with a tip from a group of hikers.
Yeah, it's super hot.
On a sizzling June day,
yesterday was super hot.
Chelan County officials believe they're hot on the trail of Travis Decker.
We got this alert that Valley High is the suspect is on the loose here.
The man accused of suffocating his 3 daughters. Chelan County deputies now tell us a group of hikers recently reported seeing a lone man hiking the enchantments who appeared to be avoiding others and that he looked unprepared for the trail and the weather. A helicopter team then spotted who they believe was Decker near Kolchuk Lake, but said he ran away after seeing their chopper. Canines searched that trail for him and eventually tracked him to the Ingalls Creek trailhead of Highway 97, but they lost him again.
It's worrisome to us.
This man rushed to pick up his mother-in-law Monday night because she was scared to be alone in her cabin near Ingalls Creek.
And it's just a perfect cliff right over the hill along the water. If it was a spot for a guy like Travis to be, it would be right there. So, when we heard that he was on the run and in this town, we're like, oh my gosh, I got to go get her. This is not good.
That same night, authorities sent an emergency alert to residents, urging them to lock their doors and remain highly vigilant.
Not too many people lock their doors around here also. We don't have to worry about those kind of things. And lately, it's like, you go outside and you check your garage before you go to bed.
In nearby Leavenworth, what would typically be the start of high season has been marred by a chaotic manhunt, says this woman who cleans Airbnbs for a living.
I've noticed it being pretty slow since the whole Travis thing.
She now hopes for resolution, justice, and a return to normalcy.
The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says if you have any tips or leads, call their tip line. That number is at the bottom of your screen right now. Law enforcement scheduled a press conference for 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll bring it to you live on KREM News at 4 and streaming on KREM 2+.
New developments this morning in the Moscow murder case. Court documents reveal why prosecutors believe the trial should start in August as scheduled.
KREM 2 Shannon Mowdy has the details on the state's argument.
Well, prosecutors make it clear in the first line of a newly filed objection, it is time to try this case. Brian Koberger's defense team asked to delay the trial after leaks of non-public evidence in a recent Dateline episode. The defense argued the information will make it difficult for Koberger to have an impartial trial. But the prosecution fired back, arguing the defense hasn't and can't show that delaying trial will make things easier. Prosecutors argue pushing trial back may make it harder to seat a jury and say a fair trial is still possible despite media attention. They say the defendant has had adequate time and legal resources to be ready for a summer trial. The prosecutors also argued the defense waited until what they called the 11th hour to ask for continuance. They point to times the defense has held the prosecution to strict deadlines. Judge Stephen Hippler is expected to hear arguments on delaying the trial on June 18th. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
6:06 right now. A curfew is still in effect. It just wrapped up moments ago in parts of downtown Los Angeles amid immigrant rights protests. Last night, police cars blocked intersections. As the new curfew took effect, residents are now being asked to stay away from parts of downtown LA from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. for the next several days. The Trump administration has deployed 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines. The National Guard is only allowed to protect federal buildings and federal officers, but CBS News has learned Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem sent a letter to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth asking for military to detain or arrest lawbreakers.
TikTok now has 1 more week to find a buyer if it wants to stay online in the United States. Last year, Congress passed a bill forcing TikTok's Chinese parent company to sell. Congress did this because of national security concerns. If you remember, TikTok shut down here in the U.S. on Trump's inauguration day. It was down for about 12 hours. Since, President Trump has extended the sale deadline twice to keep the app running, and he's considering extending it again. Billionaire businessman Frank McCourt and his partners are one of several investment groups bidding on the app right now.
Happening today, Spokane Public School board members will talk about the impacts of its stricter cell phone policy.
KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live this morning. So Brandon, this was the first year that SPS enforced these new rules. What kind of effects did they have?
I'm sorry about that. There's a cat running up on me right now, you know, meowing and everything. But with cell phones put away, school officials say they've seen less disruptive conduct. They've seen more engagement inside of the students, not as like I'm trying to be engaged with you right now. I'm serious. This cat's right here behind me. It's meowing away. But as some background and ahead of this school year, the new cell phone policy mandated elementary and middle school students to go ahead and put phones away for all school hours. High schools followed similar standards, but phone usage was allowed during passing periods, lunch hours, before and after school. And some of the numbers SPS is reporting: a 64% decrease in the misuse of social media, a 31% decrease in failure to cooperate. Lunchtime referral saw a 60% decrease in middle schools, and 6 of the 8 middle schools also saw a drop in tardy students. We got a chance to speak with SPS Superintendent Dr. Adam Swinyard ahead of the board meeting tonight.
You know, kids are addicted to screens, and we need kids off of their screens in the classroom, and we need every kid every day after school engaged in an activity, a club, a sport, performing arts, whatever their interest is. We need them out of their homes, off of their screens, engaged in real life.
So Swinyard says another focus of their cell phone policy is to encourage overall student health. Tonight's SPS meeting is slated for 6 p.m. If we have any updates from that meeting, you can find that on KREM.com. But for now, reporting live here in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
That leads to our wake-up call question of the morning. We want to hear your thoughts on this, the cell phone rule that went into effect. And we know it's not just District 81. Several other school districts from both locally and really across the country are adopting this policy. So we know it has some mixed opinions. So text us and join the conversation. Someone saying that all kids should have electronics monitored until they are 18 or 21, while someone saying they're kind of half and half on the issue because especially with the school safety in mind and school shootings, some parents feel more comfortable having their kids have their cell phone on them. So we want to hear from you. You can text us at 509-448-2000 and join the conversation.
Time is now 6:10 as we take another look at our weather forecast. For today, we'll be focused a bit more on the wind speeds across the region because as we enter the summertime, the stronger the winds are, that tends to mean the higher the fire danger is. And that's the case for central Washington today. Red flag warnings to highlight that high to critical fire danger in that area where the winds are going to be at their strongest. But in Spokane, we're just on the outside of that. Wind speeds at around 15 to 20 miles per hour today. Certainly breezy, but not to that critical level. And our high temperatures now starting to ease back into the 80s and no longer in the 90s like the first 2 days this week.